Hello and welcome back to National IAS Academy. Dear friends, my name is Raj Shekhar and we are meeting here again for the next class. And like the previous classes, here too, once again, I shall be discussing the next 10 most important topics from UPSC preliminary examination perspective. In the previous two classes, I've already discussed 20 topics in detail from the environment category. And once again, in this class, I'll be discussing some of the important conventions, international conventions related to the environment subject. Second, important initiatives or rules or schemes related to the government of India for the country. So all of these topics are from the environment category. Please pay special attention to these topics because there is a high probability that a question can be framed based on these topics. All right. So without wasting much time, let us begin straight away with the first topic, which is related to Arth Ganga. See, this concept itself is sufficient for the examiner to frame question in any manner based on his choice. See, Ganga River, obviously, we all know that every year at least one question is being asked from the rivers category. The important rivers, their tributaries, their source, the rivers, states which through which they pass, and important national parks, dams related to those particular rivers. So there are seven to eight major rivers about which you should definitely be knowing each and everything. That is inevitable. And likewise, if there is any particular scheme which has been in news, then definitely the potential, the potential of that question increases, or potential for that topic to frame a question increases. So like that, we have Arth Ganga, as the name itself suggests. Artha means what? Artha means economics, Artha Shastra, economics. So what Arthashastra means here, it relates to sustainable development paradigm with an emphasis on Ganga related economic activity. Why is it significant? See, Ganga is the lifeline for northern part of our country. Nearly 6 to 7 states are directly dependent upon the river Ganga. Important tributaries, the river Ganga and its important tributaries directly influence the well-being of many people in the northern part of the country, and not just the citizens, also the well-being of states, that is in terms of economy. It might be agriculture, it might be other associated activities, or it might be the transportation, that is water transportation, or it might be even tourism. All these activities are directly dependent upon the well-being of river Ganga. So as a result, Arth Ganga concept emphasizes the sustainable economic activities with respect to river Ganga because it is the lifeline. This particular concept was for the first time proposed by Prime Minister Modi in the year 2019 at the inaugural function of National Ganga Council, which was held in Kanpur. Now, why is it in news? Because recently the Director General of National Mission for Clean Ganga once again emphasized its importance during the World Water Week of 2022. When is it celebrated? It is observed since 1991 on the last week of August every year. This year it was observed from August 20th to 25. That is the last week of August month. All right. So here are the few basic points that you should be knowing as an aspirant related to River Ganga. First of all, how is it formed? It is formed from 6 head streams and their 5 confluences. Alaknanda, Dhauli Ganga, Nandakini, Pinda River, all of them join to form Ganga mainstream. Right? Important places through which the river Ganga passes include Haridwar, Kanpur, Saron, Kanauj, Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, Ghazipur, Bhagalpur, Mirzapur, Balia, Buxar, Saidpur and Chunar. These are some of the important areas through which the river Ganga passes through. See, of late UPSC has been asking questions in the form of match the following questions. So for such questions, you should be knowing important key areas, especially if those areas have been in news in past 1 year. At least, no, it is highly impossible and difficult to remember or by heart all these areas or the names of towns. But at least you can make yourselves familiar with those names which have been in news in past 1 year, right? Likewise, you should smartly approach any topic. Okay, coming back to the topic under Arth Ganga, the government ensures sustainable development by working on 6 verticals. First one is promotion of natural zero budget natural farming. Second one is monetization and reuse of sludge and wastewater. Third one is livelihood generation opportunities. Fourth one is increasing public participation. Fifth one is promoting the cultural heritage and tourism of Ganga. And sixth one is empowering local administration for improved water governance. A question was asked related to River Ganga in the year 2016, and it says, which of the following are the key features of National Ganga River Basin Authority? River Basin is the unit of planning and management. Yes, it might be true. It spearheads the river conservation efforts at the national level, definitely, since it is National Ganga River Basin Authority. So these two are definitely the right answers. So you can straight away eliminate option B and C. Now look at the third statement, that is one of the chief ministers of this state through which the Ganga flows becomes the chairman of NGRBA on a rotation basis. Straight away you can eliminate the statement, because we all know that PM heads the NGRBA. National Ganga River Basin Authority is headed by the Prime Minister of India. As a result, you will be eliminating the third statement. And when you eliminate third statement, you are left with only one option, that is option A, which says both 1 and 2 are correct. Right? That is how you should use your elimination techniques. Next one. There was a news article related to UNCCD. Why? Because Conference of Parties (COP), that is 15th COP to UNCCD, that is United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, was held in Cote d'Ivoire, which is located in Western Africa, and Indian Environment Minister took part in this particular meeting. As a result, it becomes important. Here we have listed the important reasons which are the main culprits for desertification in India. Please go through these areas. But the top three reasons for the desertification in India include water erosion, vegetation degradation, third one is wind erosion. These are the top three factors contributing to desertification in India. Alright, looking at the UNCCD, it was established in the year 1994. Why is it significant? Because it is the sole legally binding international agreement. Why? Linking environment and development to sustainable land management. So that's the reason it becomes significant, and it is also significant for one more thing, that is it is the only convention stemming from a direct recommendation of the Rio Conference's Agenda 21. These 2 points make this UNCCD a significant international convention. Next, a question was asked in the year 2016 related to UNCCD. It says, what is or are the importance or importances of the United Nations Convention to combat desertification? Statement 1, it aims to promote effective action through innovative national programs and supportive international partnerships. Second one, it has a special or a particular focus on South Asia and North African regions, and its secretariat facilitates the allocation of major portion of financial resources to these regions. Third one, it is committed to bottom-up approach, encouraging the participation of local people in combating desertification. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Right? So, looking at the statements, you can easily eliminate the second statement. How? See, the second statement is too good to be true, because no United Nations convention, or at least most of the United Nations convention are generalistic in nature, meaning they concentrate on a global level. But this particular UNCCD, since it is related to desertification, why should it specially focus on only South Asia and North African regions? What about other areas? Are they not being affected by desertification? Right? So as a result, we can easily eliminate the second statement. Then we are left with statement number 1 and statement number 3. So the right answer would be option C, that is 1 and 3 only. Right, next we had e-waste management rules of 2022. They became effective from 1st of April 2023. So these rules were framed by the Ministry of Environment and Forests. So for the first time, such rules were implemented in the year 2012, and they were announced in 2011. And these rules for the first time included something called as EPR, that is Extended Producer Responsibility, which means it becomes the responsibility of a producer of an electronic product to safely recycle those products even after the consumer has bought it. So when a consumer discards an electronic or electric goods, the producers are in charge of ensuring its safe disposal as per the EPR mandate. Alright. So The key provisions of 2020 to 2022 rules have been listed here, which became effective from 1st of April 2023. So, what is e-waste? We all know that, starting from mobile phone, smartwatch, headphones, earphones, everything, literally each and everything, at least in today's world, comes under the topic e-waste. All right. So next we had something on Rotterdam Convention. What is it? The convention has listed iprodione and turbofuse under its list of pesticides. So what happens now? Since these two pesticides have been listed, it does not mean that they have been completely banned. It just means that as per this convention, these new dangerous pesticides during their international trade should be advised. Like the country which is importing or which is exporting these two pesticides should inform about the dangerous side effects or dangerous issues related to these pesticides to the receiving country or the importing country. And this has been made mandatory under Rotterdam Convention's prior informed consent process. Under Rotterdam Convention, there is something called as prior informed consent process. This makes it mandatory for the exporting country to openly or in advance indicate about the dangerous side effects related to these pesticides. In the year 2022, these two, that is iprodione and turbofuse, have been listed. What is then prior informed consent process? See, whenever you hear the word PIC, that is prior informed consent process, please immediately connect it to the Rotterdam Convention. It is the procedure or it is a method for formally gathering and publishing importing parties' decisions regarding their readiness to accept incoming shipments of hazardous chemicals. These two have been listed as hazardous chemicals. So Rotterdam Convention, it entered into force in the year 2004. It is an international treaty designed to facilitate informed decision making by countries with regard to what? With regard to hazardous chemicals. It is a legally binding instrument, and India joined this convention in the year 2006. All right. Where is iprodione used? It's used as a fungicide on vines, fruits, trees, and vegetables. Also, turbofuse is a soil insecticide used commonly on sorghum, maize, wheat, and potatoes. Both are used in agriculture. Right. So these three conventions, they are called as triple conventions. One is Basel, the other one is Stockholm, and third one is Rotterdam. So what is Basel related to? It came into force in the year 1992, and it intends to reduce transboundary movements of what? Of hazardous waste from developed to less developed countries. And what about Rotterdam? We have already discussed. So it is related to important or hazardous pesticides. Stockholm prohibits production and use, import or export of chemicals in Annexure A. So all of them are together called as the triple conventions. All right. Then we have a news related to UN Decade on ecosystem restoration. On June 5, 2021, the Decade for Ecosystem Restoration was established. The basic demand for this decade was the restoration of the biosphere, that is the size of China's whole landmass. Alright, so El Salvador made the initial suggestion for the decade on ecosystem during the Bonn Challenge gathering, which was held in the month of March 2018. According to the proposal, around 350 million hectares of degraded ecosystems should be restored by which year? By 2030. Please remember this year. Alright, the proposal was supported by 71 other nations at the 73rd session of the UN General Assembly, which was held in 2018. And UN General Assembly formally proclaimed 2021 to 2030, that is 2021 to 2030, as the UN Decade of Ecosystem Restoration. Alright, UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration is from 2021 to 2030. By 2030, at least 350 million hectares of degraded ecosystems should be restored. This was a proposal initiated by El Salvador. Right. Next, Europe experienced one of the worst droughts in the recent past. It was experienced in the year 2022. and based on this topic, we need to understand the different types of drought. There are basically three types of drought. One is meteorological, which is prolonged dry spell in periods when rainfall is expected. Next one is hydrological. It's a drought when scarcity of water begins to hit normal supplies in the ecosystem. Next is agricultural drought. It is when the scarcity of water begins to affect the agricultural production. Right now, in the year 2022, all three kinds are being observed. So that's the reason it has been one of the worst times for the Europe as a whole. All right. Next, we have something on International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture. Biodiversity News. The ninth session of ITP-GRFA, that is International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture, took place in India. What is it? What is ITP-GRFA? It's a comprehensive, legally binding agreement established in the year 2001 when during the 31st session of Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. It came into effect on June 29th, 2004. So as of today, nearly 149 member countries are a part of this particular treaty. Why is it significant? The treaty offers various ways to achieve both climate resilient agriculture as well as food and nutritional security. Because it requires interdependence between nations, a global order is necessary to promote access and profit sharing. All right. Next most important point is it legally recognizes the significant role that indigenous people and smallholder farmers have played as the world's traditional stewards in food crops. All right. So these are all the overall objectives of the International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture. It becomes significant because some of the objectives are similar to the Convention on Biological Diversity, that is conservation of biodiversity, sustainable use of its components, and equitable sharing of benefits. All right. Next, we have a treaty named as BBNJ, that is Biodiversity Beyond Natural Jurisdiction. So to complete a draft of the instrument on the production and sustainable use of marine biological diversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction, the Intergovernmental Conference, conducted its fourth meeting in New York. All right. So under the auspices of the United Nations Convention on the Law of Seas, it was convened under the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea. The IGC4 has been called. This treaty is also called as the Treaty of High Seas. Alright, so what is a high sea then? See, according to the 1958 Geneva Convention, those particular areas which are part of the sea that are not included in territorial waters or the internal waters of a country, they are known as the high seas. Basically, it is the area beyond a country's exclusive economic zone, which is up to 200 nautical miles, that is 370 kilometers from the coastline, and any area beyond this particular point is called as what? The high sea. From the coastline up to 200 nautical miles, it is called as the exclusive economic zone, and any area beyond this particular region is called as what? The high seas. All right. So once again, so high seas is that particular area which is beyond the 200 nautical miles. So recently, the United Nations, the members of UN agreed on a high seas treaty. Why? To ensure the protection and sustainable use of marine biodiversity of areas beyond the national jurisdiction. Since no country is having a legal jurisdiction over the high seas, many countries have been exploiting the marine diversity in these particular areas. So as a result, a convention was really necessary. All right. Please note that the treaty is yet to be formally adopted as members are yet to ratify it. Once adopted, the treaty will be a legally binding treaty. Right? So the high seas are significant because more than 60% of the world's ocean area and about half of Earth's surface are under the high seas. So this makes them a hub of marine life. They are home to around 2.7 lakh known species, many of which are yet to be discovered. Alright. They also regulate the climate by playing a fundamental role in planetary stability by mitigating the effects of climate change through its absorption of carbon and by storing solar radiation and distributing heat around the globe. Right. So, if you look at the High Seas Treaty, as per the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which was adopted in the year 1982, it delineated rules to govern the oceans and the use of its resources. However, this particular convention, that is UN clause, there was no comprehensive legal framework that covered the high seas. It only talked about the area up to 200 nautical miles from the particular this thing, right? So, as climate change and global warming emerged as global concerns, there was a need, or the need was felt to ensure well-being of even the high seas. As a result, in 2015, UNGA decided to develop a legally binding instrument within the framework of UN clause. Subsequently, IGC was established or convened to frame a legal instrument for on BBNJ. Alright, so this is how the High Seas Treaty has come up now. So it has these are the basic key features with respect to the High Seas Treaty. That is, Access and Benefit Sharing Committee will be established. It will have the environmental impact assessments. Also, it requires consent from the indigenous community, and most importantly, no state can claim its right over the marine genetic resources of areas beyond the national jurisdiction. Alright, it will also have a clearinghouse mechanism, and it also talks about funding. That is, a special fund will be established as part of the pact, which will be fixed by the conference of parties, and the functioning of this fund, this particular fund and treaty will be overseen by the conference of parties. Next, Operation Turtleshield was in news because it has received appreciation from the COP2 sites. That is, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species has appreciated this particular campaign, which became which was widely appreciated in the state of West Bengal. All right, so it was related to the illegal busting of illegal trade in tortoises or turtles. Around no, 10,000 or 20,000 turtles were saved by the authorities in the state of West Bengal itself. So this Operation Turtle Shield was appreciated by world leaders during that event. It was in the year 2021, and now even sites, that is COP2 sites, has also appreciated the India's efforts with respect to Operation Turtle Shield. So with this, in this context, please note down the basic differences between turtle and tortoise. This is given in the PDF. Please go through briefly and know the basic differences between turtle and tortoises. Various species of turtle available in India and various species of tortoise available in India. Out of these species, which are critically endangered, which are endangered, and where are they found? Please know about the basic facts related to these particular topics. So then there was a news on lion relocation in India. Gir National Park, which is located in the state of Gujarat, is currently home to Asiatic lions, and there was a proposal to shift these lions to Kuno National Park, Kuno National Park, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Right. So instead, by 2047, there has been there has been a proposal to shift lions from Gir National Park to Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary or Kuno National Park, which is located in Madhya Pradesh, by the year 2047. All right. So this was about the important topics related to environment from this particular class. See you again in the next class with the next set of 10 most important topics from the UPSC preliminary perspective. Until then, take care, keep revising. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.